y'all. I am a hot mess today, first of all. But it is December 20th. Yes, I finally remembered to look before I started recording. Winning! And this is a weekly wrap up. What happened this week? Well, here's something super cool. I'm a member of the Yelp Elite Squad in Rochester, and there was an award ceremony on Tuesday called the Yelpies. So it's the first annual Rochester Yelpies. They do them in different places kind of all around, but our community manager, this is the first year that she's done it, and I won a I don't know, something about being a newbie, but I don't remember what it was. Newbie Impact Award, I think. So I've been on the Yelp Elite Squad since the middle of last year, 2019. And since I've been so active, I have won an award. So, that's so cool. What else happened this week? Work happened, of course. I feel like I spent way too much time at work this week. I am trying to talk my boss into me not being there so much. I'm blessed to have a job. I love my job. And if I could only work 4 days a week, that would be amazing. I also on Friday kind of had a rough day. Actually, the whole day wasn't bad. It was just one meeting or two that happened that I hated. So I came home and I had wine and I had pizza, and then the day was way better. The other thing that made the week end on an okay note is I got book mail. So the author of the Braithius Legacy, book 1 and 2, sent me copies of the books, and I love that. So he contacted me through Instagram and asked me if I'd be interested in getting a couple books, and I was like, hell yeah, I will. So these are on my list for January. Let's see if I can tell you anything. Nearly 300 years ago, a terror rose and pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. In a village at the top of a mountain, descendants of those who survived the massacre are all that remain. She heard the legends, she knew the history, but nothing could have prepared her for what she found. For the first time, they must leave the safety of the mountain and confront the legendary monsters that decimated civilization centuries ago. 17-year-old Iceland Braithius wasn't meant to be part of the expedition, but now must face the true nature of the threat below, and a secret history that changes everything she ever thought she knew. So thanks so much to Jason Latshaw for sending me these 2 books. I'm excited to read them and to get to know the story. Yeah, and look at the covers. I love the color. So I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I'm definitely one of those people who does not have a muted aesthetic on their feed. I'm big into the bold colors. I also finished today, These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I don't know why I'm feeling so fidgety today, because I don't really want to sit like this, but I kind of feel like I could sit like this. It's Sunday, and tomorrow's another work week beginning, so this weekend feels like it just flew by. I had 2 book clubs today, one of which I ditched at the last minute because 1, my head was kind of hurting, and 2, because I was finishing my book. I think my head was hurting mostly because I hosted a follow train on Instagram for this weekend, and so I've been on there like engaging with people far too much. My eyeballs are like dried out, and it was taking up too much of my energy. So that's one of the reasons why I think I'm feeling a little bit more tired than I should be on a Sunday with not a lot to go on. Oh, the other thing I did yesterday, so I went to, I don't know, I had to go someplace. Oh, I went somewhere to get coffee, coffee beans because I was out, and there was somebody on Facebook Marketplace who was selling their tea and coffee service. I told you guys I was looking for a creamer pitcher and a sugar bowl, and they were selling theirs for $20. It came with the little creamer thing and the sugar bowl and the coffee pitcher, coffee pot, coffee pot, and the teapot. $20. It had been reduced. It had been on there for a little while, and I guess it didn't sell. So yesterday I spent a lot of time cleaning them up because they were really dark, really tarnished. So I'm so excited to have these. I don't need them. Now I have to find some like little hot pads and stuff to go with them, but I love them so much. The book club I did go to was my Read Harder book club. So Read Harder is an annual challenge by Book Riot, and I have a local group here. Actually, we're not all local anymore, that get together once a month to discuss 2 predetermined categories of that challenge. So for December of this year, December 2020, the 2 categories we talked about today were a graphic memoir and the last book in a series. So for the graphic memoir, for that challenge, I am going to use Mira Jacobs' Good Talk, which I really enjoyed a lot. I love Mira Jacobs. She was here a few years ago for a local series called the Debut Series, and heard her talk, listened to her read some of her book. I think it's called the word grave is in it. Dancing. The word grave and dancing is in it. Loved the book, loved her, read the memoir, and actually I did it in an audiobook and it had a full cast, and that was awesome. So I definitely recommend that book. And then for the last book in a series, I read several of Megan March's series over the summer that are like 3 little romance novellas, kind of like boom, 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 back to back. So I'm going to count one of those for that challenge. So every month we get together and talk about what we did or didn't read for the challenges. And then we also talk about what we did or didn't read for any of the other categories or any other thing that we were doing. I actually had book club on Thursday too. And that book club was, we've decided to read 1,000 Tortured Sons or something. The Broken Earth. Nope. One of N.K. Jemison's books for January, but for December we just got together to talk about what we were reading. So it has been a really book clubbish week. Maybe that's why I'm so tired. I don't know. So the book I want to tell you about for this week is a little different. It's Uzumaki by Junji Ito. So it is a manga, which I don't think I've ever talked about a manga on here before. I haven't read a manga in a long time. Yes, I know some people are going to tell me that I should call it manga, whichever you prefer. Manga, manga, whatever. You can call it Japanese cartoons for all I care. But yeah, I've really liked it. And I'm going to try and kind of go through some of the pages while I talk about it so that you can see it. Let's hope it works. Okay, so if you've ever read manga before, you know that you have to read it backwards, or from the opposite direction that we read things in the States. So I'm going to hopefully be able to show you some of the pictures in it. But I'm not totally sure this is going to work. So hopefully it does. Anyway, so Uzumaki. Open it this way. If you just look at the first page, you know that you're in for some weird shit. So the first story is about a boy whose his dad is obsessed with spirals until the point of wanting to turn himself into a spiral. And then after he turns himself into a spiral, I'll give you a spoiler there, his wife, who is one of the people who finds him, starts also kind of becoming obsessed with spirals and not having spirals anywhere near her. So she goes into the hospital because, as you might imagine, she's lost her mind and she's having a lot of nightmares and stuff. So I believe the book, I don't know exactly how many different stories or issues of the comic are in here, but like this one is about a girl who comes to town and she has a scar on her head that turns into a spiral. So I heard about the book from BookTube, I believe, and in October, and it was really about how creepy the book was, and it was about spirals, and I really didn't understand how that could be a thing. And so I got the book, and it is super creepy, and it is about spirals, and I'm definitely recommending it. Here you can see there's some people who are turning into snails. That's super weird. And, you know, if you don't like horror, don't read this book. If you think it's just going to be cute pictures, don't read this book. But if you're super into that kind of thing, I would definitely recommend Uzumaki by Junji Ito. So that was Uzumaki. Big recommend. 4 stars from me. I was creeped out quite a few times. Couldn't go outside to take my dog out. So if you've read this book or if you read this book, come back and tell me what you think. All right. See you on the next one.